What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. My channel is College Football Frenzy, back for another video, and today I'm going to be breaking down one team in each Power 5 conference that is not looking forward to the upcoming 2020 college football season. Now, there are a few teams in college football, not many, but a few teams in college football that because of bad returning production, bad recruiting classes, maybe a coaching change, maybe a scandal, might not be looking forward to the upcoming 2020 college football season. There aren't many, but there are a few in each conference, so I decided I'll be breaking down each team in one team in each conference that probably isn't going to be very excited for the upcoming football season. It can be just because even they're maybe a basketball or baseball school and they don't really like football, or maybe it's just because really they just don't have any chance of doing any better for the upcoming season. So that's kind of going to be this video. It is a very opinionated video, so you definitely can disagree. I would not be surprised if a lot of people disagree with it. It's hard to choose between some certain teams in each conference. There are a lot of options, but overall, I try to pick the best options possible. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Start out right away. I'll start with the ACC, then I'll go the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12. In the ACC, it's Wake Forest. Wake Forest had one of the best seasons in program history last year. They started out 7-1, but they ended out the season pretty badly overall. Despite having 8 wins on the season, they lost, I believe, 3 of their last 4 in-conference games, and they also, I believe, lost their bowl game against Michigan State in the Pinstripe Bowl. So it's a tough ending of the season for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Also, they're losing Jamie Newman, their quarterback. He was a good quarterback overall. Losing him, that's going to hurt. He's now going to Georgia, so that's definitely going to be tough. The returning production, it's one of the worst in the ACC, even one of the worst in college football, so that's definitely going to hurt them. I feel like they have a lot of inexperience at certain positions, especially at the cornerback position. I believe they have a lot of inexperience. We'll see how Sam Hartman does at the quarterback position, but overall, I don't think Wake Forest is going to be as good as they were last year. I don't think they're going to be very excited to start the season again. Plus, they have a tough schedule. They have to play Clemson. They have to play Notre Dame. They even have to play App State, who lost head coach Elijah Drinkwitz, but still should be decent overall. And there's a few other in-conference games that are tough, like Miami, at Florida State, at Louisville. Those are probably losses. So Wake Forest, I think, is going to have a worse season than they did last year, and I don't think they're going to be very excited to start off the season with the returning production that they have. It's not very great. In the SEC, I had Vanderbilt. This one was a pretty big no-brainer to me. There was like one other option. I could have used Missouri, but I chose Vanderbilt just because of the fact Vanderbilt's recruiting class is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the SEC. They had a 3-9 season last year. They're not really a football school overall. They focus more on academics and baseball. On top of that, I just don't think the returning production, I don't think it's that great overall, so that's going to hurt them, and, I just feel like they're not going to have a great season next year. There's not anything that shouts out to me that would say that Vanderbilt has a very good season next year, so I really don't think they're going to be very excited to start the 2020 college football season. Every team in the SEC, or almost every team, has something to be excited about. If you look at the SEC West, Alabama, LSU, those are schools that believe they can still make the national title. Even Auburn, great returning production, believe they can make a run for Texas A&M as well. The 2 Mississippi schools, they have new head coaches, so they're excited. Even Arkansas, Sam Pittman as the head coach, they're excited. Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky all should have better seasons next year. And, even South Carolina should be excited. So really, Vanderbilt was the only option I had. Maybe I could have used Missouri, but I felt like they have Drinkwitz as head coach. They can put that scandal stuff behind them. So right now, I have Vanderbilt as the team that's probably not going to be very excited for the upcoming season in college football from the SEC. Big 10, probably the biggest no-brainer to me overall. This was probably the team that really, of every single Power 5 school, is least looking forward to the upcoming 2020 college football season. Michigan State, what a terrible offseason it was for them. Let's start off with Mark D'Antonio. That's the biggest loss. Great head coach, so many great moments under him. Losing him, that's just a really tough situation. Again, a lot of scandal stuff going on with the school right now. It's probably not a great time to be a Michigan State fan. I think that's kind of why Mark D'Antonio left. Mel Tucker comes in, and I'm not going to be bashing Mel Tucker or anything, but he's not as good as Mark D'Antonio in my opinion. So the coaching change, that's going to hurt. Their offense and defense, in my opinion, wasn't great last year. They had a tough step-back season last year. And, just overall with what's going on with this school, I don't think they're going to be very excited to see what happens in 2020. I feel like they might not even be bowl eligible for the first time in a while. And remember, it was only a few years ago when they were being ranked. Heck, in 2015, they made it to the college football playoff. So, lots changed since then. I don't expect them to be very excited. I think they're going to have a disappointing season. Big 12, tough conference to have a team that's not excited for the 2020 college football season. I feel like overall the conference isn't great, but every school has a reason to be a little bit more excited for the upcoming 2020 college football season for one reason or another. Even a school like Oklahoma where you're losing Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb, you probably are going to have a good defense next year, or at least a decent defense compared to what you've had in years back. So even a school like Oklahoma where they're losing a lot, they have a little bit to look forward to. I think every school has something to look forward to. But Baylor was my choice. I had to choose Baylor because they're losing Matt Rule. And Matt Rule was not somebody that they wanted to lose. Obviously, he was a great head coach, but he kind of is a rebuilder, not somebody who wins championships. He likes to rebuild programs, just like he tried to do with Temple. So he definitely rebuilt this program. They're a lot better now than they used to be before he came in. But this is a program that I don't think is going to be very excited. Their defense, which was the thing that carried them last year, I don't think it's going to be as good as it was last season. Their returning production, especially for the defense, it's not very great. Their recruiting class, it's one of the worst in the Big 12 overall. So that's the tough thing with Baylor. And plus, a lot of their games were close last year. They could have very well been 7-5. So I think it's going to be a tough season for Baylor. David Aranda, he came in from LSU. I'm sure, he's excited to work with the defense. But I just don't think it's going to be a great season for Baylor the next year. I mean, again, compared to last season, you look what's coming back. I just don't think it's going to be another 11-1 regular season and another Big 12 championship game appearance when teams like Texas and Oklahoma State are stepping it up. So, Baylor can definitely have an 8-4 season. I wouldn't be shocked with that, but I expect them to definitely take a step back. And finally, in the Pac-12, couple options here, but I chose Utah. I thought about choosing one of the California schools, probably most notably UCLA, but I chose Utah. Their recruiting class is okay, but the main reason why I had them as a team that's not looking forward to the 2020 college football season is because their returning production is the worst in all of the FBS. Yes, the worst in all of the FBS. The defense, which carried them last season, it's terrible in terms of returning production, so that definitely stinks. The offense, they're losing Tyler Huntley, their quarterback, that's big, and they're losing their best player on their team last year, Zach Moss, who's probably the best running back in the Pac-12. So losing a lot of returning production, that is not a good thing. On top of that, the Pac-12 South, I think it's going to be a little bit better next year. USC should be a little bit better. Arizona State, they should be better. So the chances you win your division for this upcoming season, it's definitely going to be harder. You could still win your division because your schedule overall, besides from USC and Arizona State, it's not very tough. But it's definitely going to be, in my opinion, a tougher season for you than it was last year. The one big hope is that you still have Kyle Whittingham as your coach, and he's arguably the best coach in the Pac-12 right now, if not the second best. So that's your one big hope, but you're losing a lot. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if this team went 8-4 or 9-3 and made appearances in the top 25, but they're not going to be nearly the same as they was last year. So I have Utah right now as the team that's not really looking forward to the upcoming season in the Pac-12. Well, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for joining in. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Leave your picks for the team that's not looking forward to the upcoming season down below. And that's it for now. Thanks for joining in.